out on bail and free to roam his hometown.
I think there's a level of protection that a neighborhood and a community is entitled to.
The latest on the Penn State sex abuse scandal and the man at the center of it all.
He totally respects women.
Gloria Cain is done being on the sidelines. She's stepping up front and center to defend her man, presidential nominee Herman Cain, against sexual harassment allegations. And bringing sexy back to the military ball, Justin Timberlake makes good on his promise. Your independent news network starts right now. A show of solidarity between Penn State and Nebraska players. On Saturday, they all huddled together on the football field to pray before play. Despite playing without head coach Joe Paterno, the Nittany Lions held strong against the Huskers, but ended up losing 17-14. It was the last home game of the season for the team. Hello everyone, I'm Mike Mickle. Welcome to INN News. We begin with the latest on the scandal at Penn State with news that former assistant coach Jerry Sandusky is out on bail. He faces more than 40 counts of sexual abuse, accused of molesting at least 8 children over a 15-year period. A judge told him to stay away from kids, but Sandusky lives right next to an elementary school. The district superintendent says the school has taken action to keep kids safe. Sandusky's never been accused of harming random children. Instead, he's accused of molesting young boys after developing close relationships with them through Second Mile, the charity he founded. Sandusky's maintained his innocence. Neighbors question, though, why he's out on bail.
For me, at least, it alternates between anger and sadness, really. I mean, it really is a loss of kind of community, wholesale community innocence.
Have you seen more police here in the last week?
Yes.
Meanwhile, a prominent Pennsylvania attorney has been retained to explore a civil lawsuit against Sandusky and possibly Penn State. That lawsuit is also likely to name former head coach Joe Paterno and assistant Matt McQueary. He told Paterno he saw Sandusky abuse a boy in the locker room. Paterno told his bosses nothing was ever done. People question why Paterno didn't follow up and why McQueary didn't intervene. McQueary has been placed on administrative leave. The U.S. Supreme Court will hear a challenge to President Barack Obama's sweeping health care reform law. Oral arguments will likely be held in late February or March. A ruling is expected by June. A key issue to be considered is the individual mandate section of that law. It requires nearly all Americans to buy health insurance by 2014 or face financial penalties. Some states have fought back, saying that is an improper exercise of federal authority. President Obama signed the law in March of last year. Time for your vote 2012, and Herman Cain's sexual harassment troubles are showing up in recent poll numbers. Real Clear Politics shows Mitt Romney edging ahead of Cain. An average of all recent polls gives him 22.4%. Cain has 22%. Newt Gingrich has pulled ahead of Rick Perry with 14.6%. Perry has 10.2%. Cain's numbers may be dropping some, but his wife's faith in him isn't. She's standing by her man.
To hear such graphic allegations and know that that would have been something that was totally disrespectful of her as a woman, and I know that's not the person he is. He totally respects women.
4 women accused Cain of sexual harassment when he was president of the National Restaurant Association. Well, Italy begins anew with new leadership and some relationship building between the U.S. and China in Hawaii. Here's your global news now. Italy names a new prime minister. Mario Monti was appointed to the post Sunday. That's after former Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi stepped down. Monti must try to fix Italy's debt crisis. The country is more than $2 trillion in the hole. That's driving up interest rates, which is threatening the euro. A collapse of that currency could plunge Europe into a recession and drag down the U.S. economy along with it. U.S. President Barack Obama has met his Chinese counterpart. The meeting between President Obama and China took place on the sidelines of the APEC meeting yesterday. President Obama says the U.S. will work with China to continue to expand the American-Chinese relationship. Leaders and representatives from 21 nations met yesterday in Hawaii to discuss trade and the international economy. More people from other countries are coming to the U.S. to get a college education. The Institution of International Education shows more than 723,000 international students were enrolled at U.S. colleges and universities last year. That's a record high. The report shows these students spent more than $20 billion on things such as tuition and living expenses in the U.S. And that's your Global News Now. A champion in the fight against breast cancer has died. Evelyn Lauder passed away yesterday in New York City. Lauder, seen here with Elizabeth Hurley, founded the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. She became one of the country's most important cancer fundraisers. She also helped create the pink ribbon symbol for breast cancer. Lauder was diagnosed with breast cancer in 1989. In 2007, she developed ovarian cancer. She died from complications of that ovarian cancer. Evelyn Lauder was 75 years old. Well, Justin Timberlake kept his promise and escorted a U.S. Marine Corporal to her Marine Corps ball. This is a picture of them at the event in Richmond, Virginia, Saturday night. Kelsey DeSantis invited the award-winning singer and actor to the ball via YouTube in July. This after his Friends with Benefits co-star Mila Kunis agreed to a similar YouTube invitation from a Marine serving in Afghanistan. Timberlake wrote on his website, "It was one of the most moving evenings he's ever had." Well, fire concerns over the Chevy Volt, what investigators are looking into as a possible cause. Plus, are you feeling the pressure to shop early? What some of you think about the idea of Black Thursday. And later, a man who doesn't need any t-shirts for Christmas. He has more than 200. And yes, he's wearing them all in this video. We'll tell you why coming up on INN.